Now,
Good morning. Today we want to ask a question about diversity. What is causing this huge, uh, almost infectious disease of homogeny and the racial fallout that is going with this desire for a homogeneous society? What is causing this energetically? And today I was looking at my chart as I do every single day because I feel like the stars are our bits and bytes. It's our program, it's our software, and it makes up the sum of who we are. And I was noticing some various aspects of my chart in Chiron. And the Chiron is the great wounded healer. Many of us right now are also engaged, although we may not be aware of it, in a lot of shadow work. It's been talked about at this time. We're at the 9/11 of our time socially, and we are having a 9/11 event. And we seem to be having it on epic levels. So I'm here today to ask the cards a question. So with that, I would like to be. Okay, so can I please have your question, Cubby?
what is the socio-political environment racism today? What's driving racism today, basically?
Okay, so your question is the energy around racism and what's driving it? What's driving the energy around racism at this time? What is driving racism at this time? Spirit, please tell us. Please help us understand. Guides, please help me pick the right cards, as this is such a tender and delicate subject. And today we're using the Emmy Brady tarot deck. I love these cards. I've been wanting an Emmy Brady tarot deck for a long time, and I waited for Emmy Brady to do her latest edition of them, and it was on the list and paid in advance and all that good stuff. And oh boy, I'm so excited to have these cards. Not that, I love my Rider-Waite's, I love all my cards, but I was excited about this deck, and that was inspired by Johnny from Tarot Apprentice, because, well, he has a lot of decks, and he does a lot of previews with those decks from when he gets them and tells us about it. So anyway, that's who inspired me. Thank you, Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice, for the Brady Tarot deck suggestion. All right, and racism. What is shaping? What is the energy within the racial conflicts right now? What is this energy, Spirit? Please help us. Please help us to understand what it is that we need to know. Okay, now we're starting to see some action. Okay. Racism. What is it all about? Tell me, Spirit, what is the racial issues all about? Where does this come from? We are doing a Celtic cross. What is all this racial tension about? Perhaps if we understand why we have it, we can do something about fixing it. I would hope.
That's all you can do.
Racial tensions. How can we fix it? Racial tensions. What's it all about, Spirit? Tell us what you at this time want us to know. Racial tensions. It's a very touchy subject. I'm both by my name and by my birth date a Life Path 9, which is a humanitarian. And so for me, the issues around racism have always been a sensitive topic. I've always been somebody who's been sensitive and aware of racial divide, and have never felt good about it. So I think I was just born with that energy. So at the bottom of our pack, what we're coming into is truth. What is influencing us is truth, deeply influencing us. So let's just go ahead and leave that there. Amy Brady. Okay. Basically, we start out with the Fool. It's like the beginning of time. The Fool is the beginning of a major arcana card, the Zero card, the new journey. The energy behind racism, perhaps, is something that needs a reset, a relook. Maybe we are actually going to walk into, or are, because this is basically the question. Maybe we are at a point now where we are ready to start a new journey and to look at the issues we have around racism. So that being said, what it is crossed by is this energy that wants to look it down and say, I dare you, do something about it. What can you do anyway? The ram wants to get in there, and he wants to challenge his right or her right to keep that energy. What is above in a past position is oppression. We've oppressed people of color. We have oppressed women. We have acted in ways that, for me as a human, I seriously want to do something about if I can. But right now, obviously, with the news, the current political circumstances, and the number of people of color being murdered, the oppression card, it barely touches the reality that we see in this sense. And it's something that the question is a question of discipline. It's a question that we need to be of a discipline in our minds. We need to be of a discipline in our heart chakra, because I do believe all of us in our heart chakra know that this is no way to move forward, that we are functioning in our injured state. In our injured state, we injure others. And that is a product of this lifetime, past lifetimes. And right now, energetically, we are being called to do this deep, dark work. And as we have been looking at this maybe for some of us the first time, some of us not, that this doesn't impact, people are waking up into a state of mourning. They're starting to feel a sense of loss, and it's a movement. I am very pleased to see people posting on Facebook that they find it entirely unacceptable to see a race of people marginalized and minimalized, and that currently we are posting pictures of people that are doctors and lawyers and various other professions that are Black, because they are contributors to society, they are human, they are a part of our species, and it is time for us to let our personal divisionary points go. And we are doing that. We are learning how. But a lot of times in loss is our great shift. We shift out of a process. But we do need to be patient, because, well, this is a process that will take time. Not everyone is going to wake up with us at the same time. We're going to wake up as we wake up. But currently the planetary alignment and the various retrogrades or exalted planets as we are calling us to do something about ourselves. Venus is calling us to love. And that isn't in alignment with racial divide. How we are functioning as people it's a scarcity mentality. It is morally bankrupt. It is of no good use to us spiritually. And for us to heal from this time that we're in, we must stop the moral bankruptcy. We must face down this issue and have the ability to rise up and say, no, no more. If we do so, it is going to lead to a form of happiness, to a form of the happy family, of us coming together and giving and receiving without those lines. So is this time a time that we are experiencing to bring us to a better place? Well, this card suggests yes, it is, because this is a future position that this situation is going to bring us to a place of awareness and healing. At the hopes and fears position, it will create inspiration. We will do something about it. The people are rising up. And at this point, in some ways, there's a good deal of correlation in the times that we're in right now in terms of astrologically, except for this is the 9/11 time of our times. But we also have a lot of similarities to the Bolshevik Revolution in our charts. So that being said, I think that the energy we are moving towards is inspiration. And sometimes crisis brings inspiration. Crisis brings change. To conclude, we all are looking to preserve our humanness. We are looking for a way to be authentically who we are. I challenge those of you who feel that it is something that you entertain, racism, to embrace a different energy, to wake up and determine that today I'm not going to do that, and see how you feel. Maybe you simply wave at somebody of color. Maybe you just go to someone and intend a good thing. With that, I conclude. Thank you for joining me here today.